Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Darren, and in this video I'll give you guys a little bit of an insight of what hunters are like right now currently in BFA beta. This is beta, this is way too early, but at least if you're anybody who wants to maybe figure out if hunter might be the class you might enjoy or might want to play, these are my first impressions of this class in BFA. This is all early beta, this will probably get changed in the future, and you should not use this video as accurate information, but rather my first insight on the early build of World of Warcraft. Now, hunters are actually pretty enjoyable. I think I'm gonna put them in my top 5 classes that I will play in BFA because Marksman survival are just so much fun, and then Beast Mastery is still a solid class. So, I want to talk about every single one of these specializations of hunter and talk to you what is new, what I like, what I didn't like. One of the things that I liked is how they're doing the pet system. Now, this is the pet system that a lot of people did not like, so I am in the minority when I'm telling you that I enjoyed this system. So now the pets, instead of being able to choose their playstyle or their talent build of a tanking pet, PvE DPS pet, or a PvP DPS pet, the tenacity, ferocity, and cunning pets, instead of being able to choose how you want your pet to behave, instead now Blizzard basically gives you an automated preset based on your pet. So if you have a turtle, it is going to be a tanking tenacity pet. If you have a dog, it's going to be a DPS ferocity. If you have a cat, it's going to be DPS cunning. Now, what is different between those pets? For the most part, not a lot. All these pets deal the same amount of damage, so you can be in a raid and take a tanking tenacity pet and use it in a raid, and he'll deal as much damage as a DPS ferocity pet. So this is awesome. What does this mean for the pets? Each pet family of tenacity, ferocity, and cunning offers you different benefits, usually just in terms of utility. Ferocity gives you 10% leech, which is great for leveling, and bloodlust, which is great in dungeon situations or raid situations if you don't have bloodlust already available. Then you have a tenacity pet that passively gives you extra increase to your stamina so you can survive mechanics that would otherwise kill you, as well as a defensive, buffing you and your pet to take 20% less damage for 6 seconds, 3-minute cooldown. The last pet of cunning gives you passive movement speed increase at all times and freedom if you need it. This allows you to take pets into a raid, dungeon, mythic plus, or PvP situations, like let's say for example arenas, and if you know you're going to be going against melee that are just going to ride you the whole time, then maybe you might want to go with tenacity pets so you can survive the burst. If you are going to be playing against classes, let's say you're survival and you're going up against mages, and you don't want to be sitting in a freeze a whole time, you might want to go with the cunning pet so you can freedom you out of it. So I actually like this type of system, and I think it's pretty cool. A lot of people don't like the system because it makes the pets a lot less unique, but I think this allows you a lot more customization of how you want to approach situation, especially useful if you're Beast Mastery or Survival. Not nearly as useful if you're Marksman, because usually Marksman puts the pet away in order to do more damage, as Lone Wolf becomes a passive for them. Now, let's talk a bit about the specs and what I like about them. With Beast Mastery, I'm going to be short and sweet. It's the same Beast Mastery we know and love. You have a lot more emphasis, even more emphasis on your kill command, as your Cobra Shot reduces the cooldown of kill command. So the playstyle is very simple, kill command as often as you can. And that's all the spec is really all about. It's still a very powerful spec, really great for soloing content, and some of the talent changes are pretty cool. Now, instead of being able to, I guess, play some kind of a playstyle where you're all about burst, or like sustainy, now you really get to play around how you want to play with your class. You can either have utility that your hunter brings, or just buffing your pet. Maybe you might even want to go with abilities that summon pets. You don't really summon the whole zoo anymore, it's really just an intimate relationship between you and your one pet. Until they finally fix a talent that allows you to have 2 pets, then you can have a safe for work intimate relationship with both of your pets. So the specialization is pretty straightforward. It allows you to play however you want, it puts AoE talents with AoE talents, it looks all pretty competitive and pretty great. I'm still not 100% sure exactly what kind of build I want to run, but it's a round-of-the-mill hunter. It's pretty straightforward, it's pretty easy to play, it's not too complicated, and I'm usually somebody who likes to play maybe even overly complicated specializations from time to time. So this is probably not the specialization of hunter that I'm going to be picking up. But if you're somebody who's new at World of Warcraft, I feel like Blizzard allows you, as let's say a new player, to always have a fun, easy to play, but very diverse in terms of talents and builds, Beast Mastery Hunter. Something you can really get your teeth sank in, and the changes coming into BFA keep the specialization fresh and keep it exciting. So if you're somebody who loves the whole playstyle with your pet, I think you're going to be super happy. If you're somebody who is brand new to Hunter, then you're going to enjoy this brand new spanking new change to this one of the easier specs to play, and It still stands, it still does its own thing, and is basically more of what you love. Now let's talk about Marksman. Oh man, after I get to play this specialization and even ran a dungeon with it, I got so jazzed up. The new Marksman in BFA looks absolutely amazing. I did not enjoy the Legion Marksman. I just couldn't really understand the whole vulnerability mechanic. I just couldn't quite play it. It ended up feeling like a specialization that was really just gear dependent, even though I knew how to play the spec just fine. And apparently I was doing my rotation a-okay, but just still couldn't quite get it. The new Hunter is a little bit mix of the old school Hunters, but also with a twist. You get aim shot, but now it has only 2 charges. And after you spend those charges of aim shot, you also get procs for arcane shot to do more damage. Arcane shot and aim shot both spend your focus, so you gotta spend your focus while also using up procs for aim shot as much as possible, and you gotta refund and regen your focus. You gotta regen your focus with abilities like steady shot. That ability made a comeback in the game. And then you get a brand new one called Rapid Fire, an ability that deals decent chunk of damage, has a cooldown, and also refunds you focus every time it hits the enemy. And when it comes to the AoE part of the fight, this is where the Hunter gets even cooler. You have multi-shot, which now gives you a proc for aim shot to now ricochet between enemies, or Rapid Fire to just barrage enemies all over the place. And the playstyle on its own doesn't sound all that exciting, but once you get in the game and you're running around and you're shooting, and then you're forced to stand still and really take the aim shot at the enemy, and then you're going for your focus spending, focus regen, focus spending, focus regen, it feels absolutely awesome. When I was running a dungeon with a bunch of players and I kept barraging a bunch of mobs, accidentally pulling the whole room, but I had so much fun playing it. The playstyle of itself has so much difficulty to it, and when you pull it off, you really see the numbers shine. When you're trying to play the playstyle and you're trying to stand still and then move, stand still and move, trying to spend focus, build focus, spend focus, build focus, it just falls so well together. And I love that it feels like such a difficult class, and when you pull it off just right, it feels so great. I'm somebody who's definitely going to be playing myself a bit of Marksman in BFA. This seems like a ton of fun. I love the amount of damage he deals. I love the playstyle change that came to it with BFA, and I'm a fan. I am definitely a fan. I feel like Marksman is definitely going to be one of the maybe top 10 specs in the game. It's just so much fun. I honestly did not think I would enjoy it, but I was just sitting there in front of my PC monitor, just doing the dungeon and just getting a little giddy with excitement as I'm playing this spec. I really do apologize to everybody who had to run that dungeon with me, and I'm so sorry for pulling so many mobs, but I was just going a little bit trigger happy. And then we have survival. Now this specialization was definitely interesting. At first I was doing a few quests and killing mobs, and I thought this is really not hitting for all that hard. A lot of the hype and a lot of the wind that I had built up myself for survival just disappeared, and I had no idea how to play the spec. But after running a dungeon and trying so many different builds back to back to back, it's one of those fresh specializations that feels a lot like Assassination. It feels like there's no wrong build to play. And I know a lot of people have been asking me, hey Dal, what is the best build? Hey, can you play this poison build? Can you play this bomb build? Can you play butchery? Can you basically make the original hunter? How do you dot up? How are you supposed to play? And this specialization is just so fresh, so spanking new. I have no idea how to play it properly. I came into the dungeon, have no idea what to do. I just tried from method to method, back to back, and just to figure it out. And the best part, I still maintained top damage in the dungeon. It was the most amazing experience I've ever had. This feels like the specialization doesn't have a wrong way to play. If you ever want a specialization in World of Warcraft that's all about personal freedom, how you choose to play, do you want to be all about dots and poisons and really just range damage? Do you want to be very heavy into melee and stacking those mongoose bites? Do you want to just run into an enemy group of people and just butchery all of them? Or do you want to kind of just micromanage them like an Affliction Warlock and make sure everybody has a dot with your pet dot, and then you have your Serpent Sting dot, and then you have a Poison Bomb Grenade with a positioning requirement? There's just so many ways to play, and it feels like there's no wrong way. It feels like there's so many mechanics that are just working so well together. It feels like everything is part of a piece of puzzle, right? Let's say poisons are a third of your damage. These physical damage is a third of your damage, and pet damage is a third. And if you want to replace physical with, let's say, more poison, you can. If you want to replace some of the poison with more pet damage with the bleed to spread it around, you can. If you just want to go with a grenade to really get yourself some burst damage, you can. And that's the feeling that I got with it. And first I came in with a specialization thinking, okay, this actually feels more like a gimmick. and very quickly they turn into probably one of the most customizable specializations. And I feel like there will be in the future a method to play the spec at its most primal, at its highest amounts of damage. They're probably the best method so far. But I think it is actually a pretty good idea that besides maybe Flank and Strike being one talent that I actually found kind of useless, just about every single playstyle, every single method that I tried today has been viable. And I was able to push top damage in the group. So I thought that was probably one of the most unique experiences I've ever had. As a melee / ranged, I really think Blizzard made probably one of the best, most hybrid classes, most hybrid specializations in the game. Somebody in my stream asked me, what's the most dynamic specialization in the game? And I actually had to just make sure to Google it, what dynamic means. Dynamic means like ever-changing, never the same. And I would say the Survival Hunter is definitely probably the most dynamic specialization I've ever had. I ended up enjoying it for its difficulty. I ended up enjoying it for its simpleness. I ended up enjoying it for so many reasons, and I think I'm definitely going to be playing some survival once BFA comes out. Marksman and survival were the two specializations that allowed me to play how I want and allowed me to play a more difficult class, more difficult spec that really felt like the more effort I put in, the more I get out of it. And that was probably the most rewarding part of it all. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I would like to know if you guys are interested in making a hunter in BFA after the things I told you in this here video. What are your thoughts on all three specs, Beast Mastery, Marksman, Survival, and which one really just suits your fancy? Hopefully the gameplay was able to give you at least a little bit of an idea of what's it like to play the specializations, and hopefully a little bit of my commentary was able to give you more of an insight of how it felt to play those specs. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'm excited to play some Hunter in BFA whenever BFA finally comes out, but right now we have the beta, so I'm super excited to showcase you guys stuff like this. If you want to hear my opinion on another class, let me know all that in the comments below. I'm definitely going to be checking out this video again for the comment section to see what you guys are interested in, and I'll give you guys my honest opinion on a class that's currently in progress as it develops in the beta. Thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Again, all this stuff is in the beta, so chances are it's all going to change in the future, but this is my insight on Hunter. Thank you guys so much for watching. Likes, subscribes, and hit the notification bell is very much appreciated, and I'll see all of you in another video.